Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. In this talk here, we're just going to look at how simple the Guru's made Sikhi for us, and how we're not even living the simple message that the Guru gave us, and how we've twisted everything around, and how we've gone so far away from the message that the Guru gave us. All the Sikh Gurus from Guru Nanak Dev Ji to Guru Gobind Singh Ji is the same light. Akal Purakh, Waheguru put his light in Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and that same light went from one body to another body like a candle, lighting another candle. So these days you got Sikhs that can't even see that. They like saying, I believe it up to Guru Arjan Dev Ji, but I don't believe Guru Har Gobind and Guru Gobind Singh Ji because they had shastras and stuff, and I think they went away from the message of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. But the light that is in Guru Granth Sahib Ji now was the light that Akal Purakh sent. All the Gurus had the same light, the Jyot. So many shabads about this, and our community is so confused about a little concept like that. Akal Purakh Waheguru sent so many prophets before Guru Nanak Dev Ji, sent Muhammad, Jesus, so many. Guru Gobind Singh Ji in his writings describes that when these prophets came on earth, they, the Hindu gods and goddesses started warring over women, and they got enticed by ego. Muhammad got a bit of ego, and Jesus, he lost faith at the last minute. So God Akal Purakh had to send Guru Nanak Dev Ji to teach the people the way of the truth without ego. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji was Akal Purakh himself. Over here in the picture you see a king cobra protecting the Guru. Normally a king cobra will bite people, but King Cobra came out of his cave and protected the Guru with his hood from the sun rays. That shows that Guru Nanak Dev Ji was someone special, was like a Jyot of Akal Purakh Ji on earth. And the Guru went from place to place, confronted cannibals, showed them love and showed them the right way. Guru Nanak Dev Ji was sent on earth to show righteousness, and the truthful way of a good humble saint, as well as standing up for righteousness against kings, against the corrupt people, corrupt leaders, corrupt governments. Guru Nanak Dev Ji made so many stands as well, and he changed the world through the Shabad and love. And look at Sikhs these days, there's fighting in the Gurdwara with Gurbanne. The Amritaris these days got a lot of ego. They don't talk to non-Amritaris. Amritaris fighting Amritaris over different views. You've got just say someone's Amritari, they have a moment of weakness and they break the Amrit. The person gets labelled bad and no one shows them any love. Like even these Gale and Gore football players, when their teammate has a bit of weakness and he falls, they don't just look at him and laugh or say, I'm not going to chat to you because he fell over. They're going to go and help and pick him up and say, come on bruv, you can do it, we can win this game. But how comes in the game of Sikhi we don't do that? When someone has a moment of weakness, we just diss them and don't talk to them no more. You get me? That's what's happening out there, and that's why a lot of ego and a lot of it's pushing people away from Sikhi instead of getting them into it, because there's no love. Where is the love in the Sikhi scene? There's not much love, man, trust. Guru Nanak Dev Ji started Langar as well. His dad gave him money to start a business. Guru Nanak, he said to him, do a such a soda, something that will make a lot of profit. Guru Nanak Dev Ji saw poor Hindu people and poor other saints in the forest starving, and he spent all the money starting the Langar. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, you have to look out for humanity, you have to look out for the starving, the poor. If you look at Sikhs these days, they've got massive houses, massive cars, and there's kids in Africa dying, KHALSA Aid's trying to make a difference and stuff, but as a whole, as a community, we make so much Langar in the Gurdwara, but we chuck it away, but we can't go and give the local homeless people in that area any food. Do you know what I mean? And Langar was started to, so the poor and the rich sit down equally and eat together and make sure that no one really goes starving in this world. That's how much compassion Guru Nanak Dev Ji had, and we chuck that Langar away. Well, people these days don't even eat prasad and Langar from the Gurdwara. Certain Jathe don't eat a Langar or prasad from the Gurdwara. They don't, because they say I don't know, it's not made right, or someone they mate didn't make it or whatever. Because if you look at prasad and Langar, if it's good enough for the Guru to eat, and the Guru, whatever the Guru touches becomes pure. Do you know what I mean? Guruji is the purifier of sinners. When you jap Bani, your sins go away. So when Guru Nanak Dev Ji, or when you do Bhog in front of Guru Granth Sahib Ji, the Langar and the Prasad, it becomes the Guru's Jood. People saying we can't eat the Guru's jewels now. That's how people think they're higher than the Guru these days. We got it all twisted, man. The Guru went and spoke to different people in their own language. The Gurus knew so many languages and preached the way of the truth and got rid of fake rituals and superstitions and all these other prakanda that people used to do, and taught them the right way. You know, there's one incident when, you know, these Hindu people used to chuck water towards the sun, so for their ancestors or something like that. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, look, here's this piece of roti, chuck it to, you know, one of your friends in another bend. And they go, we can't chuck the roti that far, I won't get there. So he goes, how can the water get to your ancestors? And they were doing that for years until Guru Nanak came and told them that the truth. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji had a wicked technique of speaking to people in their language. It's like Singhrow now. We speak the street language in our music, we speak street language when we do talks in unis or wherever, and people are hating us for that. We speak street language because we're trying to help street people. It was like, if I only knew Punjabi and there was a Chinese woman, I couldn't communicate with her, get me? I couldn't, do you know what I mean? And we both didn't know English. I couldn't say to her, Benji, you know, etake roti pao, because she'd be like, choo choo wah wah wah, Hong Kong fui, whatever she's gonna say, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's like, I ain't gonna understand and she ain't gonna understand. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji adapted the language of the people who went there and spoke the truth to them. He adapted the language so he could communicate with them people. You know what I mean? If you go to street people, you can only communicate to them with street languages. Otherwise it's hard to get their attention and have an impact on them. But these Amritas out there hating on Singhrow, you know what I mean? And all we're trying to do is get people out the gutter, you know what I mean? Guruji done Kirtan everywhere. You know, Guruji associated with Muslims, so many different type of people, went everywhere and showed them the truth. Went to Mecca, and at Mecca put his feet towards Mecca itself. Muslims found that disrespectful, said that's where God is. And because Muslims believe God is only there, Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, put my feet where God isn't. And when they moved Guru Nanak Dev Ji's feet, the Mecca moved itself. This is how much power Guru Nanak Dev Ji had, and they kept the sandals of Guru Nanak Dev Ji there as a mark of respect. That's why some Muslims say that Guru Nanak Dev Ji was a Muslim. He went there to show them, you know, that, you know, you're doing a bit of pakand, and that pakand still exists today. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji, not only did he communicate with the poor, downtrodden people, he went out there and, you know, the kings, the emperors, you know, the people that had all the power, you know, people were scared of these people. Guru Nanak Dev Ji went there and told them the truth. There's one incident where Guru Nanak Dev Ji spent 2 years in jail just because he spoke the truth to BABBAR, who is committing oppression on the common folk. Guru Angad Dev Ji started Punjabi schools for kids so they could read Bani, because without reading Gurmukh Bani or Gurmukh, it's hard to read the Gurbani, and Gurbani is what's going to sort your mind out, purify it and get you to God. These days there's a lot of Santhya classes in the UK, and the Santhya teacher acts all hard and bad boy type, and, you know, doesn't show love to the students, and the students ain't going to the Santhya no more. Do you know what I mean? You're going to teach the language of love, because the Shabad Guru is all about love. You're going to teach the language of love. You're going to teach people to get a chance to meet their beloved Waheguru, but you're teaching it in like a harsh way where, you know, you're hurting people's hearts. So what's the point trying to be out there doing seva, but you're hurting people's hearts and you're pushing them away from learning Gurbani? Without learning Gurbani, it's hard, you know, it's going to be a really hard journey to get to Waheguru, you get me? Because you need to know what Bani's saying. Yeah, but the Santhya teachers these days, you know, they look down on people, looking ego. Why can't they just see them like, wow, someone's come to learn Bani and let me teach them in a nice, loving way? These camps that we go to is like, these Sikhi camps, most of them are like prison, you know what I mean? They talk down to people, they don't show them no love and stuff like that. And then yet, they're trying to say to spread the Guru's word. But the Guru was so different. The Guru broke the heart of cannibals, the hardest criminals. And we can't even get normal people into Sikhi because there's no love. Yet we put on these Bani like we're like, you know, like we're so spiritual. But if we were spiritual, we wouldn't be breaking people's hearts. We're the same, Singhro's the same, you know. I ain't talking about all other organizations and not about ourselves. We're the worst of the worst. We're not even Singhs and Sikhs, we just use them names because, you know, we're born in a Sikh family and Singh is what's on the birth certificate, not that we're living it up like that, do you know what I mean? Guru Angad Dev Ji told the Sikhs, yeah, do wrestling, do martial arts, look after your body. Look at Sikhs these days, man. Obesity, cholesterol problems, diabetes, high alcohol poisoning. You know, we're not looking after their health. The youngsters are, look, half of them are fat, playing them PS3s, eating a lot of grapashad, and you know, eating samosa and laddus, and like, you know what I mean. And if you've got a big family, there's a birthday every weekend and a wedding every week, you know what I mean. And you know, you're munching all that down, and by the time the kid's 30, he's too fat and shit, and you can't change all that around, you know what I mean. Gurus went out there to help ill people, to help, you know, the lowest of lows in society. The Guru socialized with them people. Someone's a bit poor, we don't want to be seen with them because they're tramps or they're poor, or you know, some Gurdwara don't let the disabled people in. How many of us go out there to help people that really need it? Do you know what I mean? With your own hands as well. Not many people. All we just seem to be doing is talking down to people these days, you get me? Again, the Gurus, Guru Angad Dev Ji carried on teaching Bani, reciting Bani. You know, Bani is the most important thing in a Sikh's life. Without Bani, man's dead. It's like man or woman's dead. Like your soul, it's no point in being on earth because your soul's dead. Or you're gonna be you know, you're going to be intoxicated by Maya, corruption, poison, sin, lust. We all know how lust affects us. We all know how sinful we really are, and it doesn't matter if you wear a white barn to a program, innit? We know everybody knows what they do in their own houses, or what videos they watch on the internet or whatever. We know that, but the thing is, we can hide it from each other, but we can't hide it from God. But how are we going to change? Only through Barney, innit? Not reading it like a parrot and trying to knock out 40 Jabji Sahibs in one day without any biyar. It's better you knock out one Jabji Sahib and adapt to what Barney's saying, try to understand it and do it biyar on. Like, a lot of people have these clickers in their hands and just tick 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 tick. They're not paying attention to what the Bard's saying or what Maharaj is asking them to do. All they're saying is that they made it into a competition. You go on Facebook these days and people said, I done like 150 Jabji Sahibs a day. Next man will say, I beat he, lol he, I done this much. It's become ridiculous out here, you know what I mean? Again, Gunaji started longer, the Gurus adapted no longer. Only poor people couldn't afford kheer in them days. Kheer was seen as a luxury, like ambrosia. So the Gurus, Mata Kivi, one of the Gurus' wives, included kheer in the langar so poor people could have, you know, that's how much compassion the Sikhs and the Gurus had. So poor people could have the luxury of eating a rich man's dish. Do you know what I mean? So they could feel the sweetness in the langar as well. It's amazing how amazing Sikh is, and these days we say bitter and harsh words to each other and break people's hearts and that for no reason, just because they don't know about Sikhi. If they don't know about Sikhi, how you meant to teach them? You got to teach them with love. You can't just shut them out because no one's perfect. Everyone's coming from different backgrounds and different roots and different versions of Sikhi. We need to start, you know, we need to like just get everyone into basics of Sikhi, no matter what level they're at right now, you get me? And if people like, you know, I've seen how these girls and stuff are at programs, like if a girl went wearing at the star, they'd get into the star group and start dissing and that, you know what I mean? Or if someone's a Matarian is wearing a patka, you know what I mean? Show her love, man. How you know what I mean? If you chat bad about each other and you point things at each other, you're gonna push them away. You have to show these people love, you know what I mean? And you know, and if you think you're better than them, that's ego. Do you know what I mean? And egos that, you know, is going to come back and slap you in the face one day. Do you know what I mean? It already is. Look at the whole Sikhi scene. It's a mess out there. Let's be real about it. You know, and the Gurus had so much pyar and respect for each other. You know, they had like a lot of love for the Sikhs, and the Sikh people were actually a solid community. These days, you know, everyone just looks at the bad and negatives in people. Singhrow, we've got a lot of bad and negatives. I'll admit it first, but you know, also I think we're doing a lot of positive stuff, but all people keep back chatting us and making it hard for us to get out there and do the prajar. You know, certain uni people ain't calling us, certain mans are back chatting us so people don't call us, and all we're gonna do is spread basic Sikhi out there and talk to the people from the streets, because there's 100 of people in the streets these days, you get me? 100 of our brothers and sisters doing drugs, sleeping around, drinking and that, and we've come from them backgrounds ourselves. so we can relate to them, so we can tell them where this is how it's done and that, right? And we can chat, you know, this is how we felt when we were doing it. If we ain't had no knowledge of that background, they'd find it hard for them to open up to you, you get me? Because they know that you ain't really gonna understand what they feel, but they know we understand. But people ain't like letting us have access to them people, because I don't know if they're hating or what it is, just looking at our negative points, man. Just think about the bigger picture for once, you get me? If you got beef with me or any single people on a personal level, yeah, that's a personal level, yeah. You know, we've got beef with 100 guys out there, and you know, we've got beef with a lot of Sikh guys out there, unfortunately, you get me? That's just the way life goes. But you know, that's a personal thing. When it comes to Bajjar, you know, you should put the personal beef aside. Like, I know people that I got beef with, but if they're doing good Bajjar, I will promote their stuff, even though I don't like the person as a person. But if there's what they're saying can get people insecure, it's the right thing, mans will promote it, you know what I mean? And the Guru's done seva with their own hands. They didn't just ask their Sikhs to do seva and not do it themselves. I mean, Guru Amar Das used to carry the Bani for Guru Angad Dev Ji's bath Amritwell in the morning and walk and grab the Bani. Done this for years, 12 years or something like that. Yeah, so how much seva do we really do? You know, we watch EastEnders, watch Coronation Street. You know what I mean? We can, even if we can't go Gurdwara and do seva, or go out there in the community or to another country to help the poor, we can just do seva in our own house, you get me? Like, even doing the housework and not expecting nothing in return is seva, because you're looking after your family, you're looking after your mum and dad. They raised you, you know, they changed your nappies, and they gave you a roof over your head, and they gave you money to providing for you. You can help them, you can help your little brother and sisters. There's always so much seva to do. That's within your own house, let alone out in the big world. So get involved in some sort of seva, do you know what I mean? And if you've got no money, it's not always about just giving money, it's about time and effort as well. And the Gurus used to, you know, give sroppe out to people that done a lot of seva as a reward, to show love, to show like, this is the way a Sikh should be. These days we just give sroppe any minute, like, you know, someone got engaged, well, I'll give them a sroppe, well, how big deal, 100 people get engaged out there, in other communities get engaged out there. It's always someone's birthday. A sroppe is something that needs to be achieved through hard work and effort and dedication and determination and purity, do you know what I mean? It's not a little thing, but we've made big things into little things, and that's why, you know what I mean, that's why our community is going downhill at the moment. Again, the Gurus used to serve langar to the Sangat themselves, do you know what I mean? No ego like the top Gurus, fake Gurus of the pundits these days, or whatever fake Babbe are. They sit there, get everyone to do all the dirty work and that, and do the stuff and sit in the thing and just get mata taped to them. The Gurus are out there, hands on. If they wanted someone to die for them, they were willing to die for them. Do you know what I mean? That's how the Gurus were. And you know, the Gurus didn't discriminate. You know, if they had a rule, that rule applied for everybody. Do you know what I mean? Like, once, yeah, langar is with the poor, the rich, any caste, background, race, colour, you know, goes to the Gurdwara and eats and stuff. And once a king came, and the Sikh said to the Guru that king, he can't really sit on the floor with the rich, poor people, do you know what I mean? It's not good. And the Guru said, this is the Guru has the same law for everybody, the same rule for the rich, the poor, the blind, whatever. There's the same rule, get me? Whether you're blind, whether you're rich, whether you're disabled, whatever you are entitled to sit in the langar and eat the Guru's langar. So the king had to sit with all the poor people. That's how real the Guru kept it real. These days, a man will go on stage to make a bit of money, the gyani or whatever, will read a script, then he'll go out there and, like, in the back here, just knock a peg down or have a bit of a KFC munch, do you know what I mean? It's all fakeness, but the Gurus used to keep it real. What they did, what they said, get me the show, and from inside and outside they were the same, kept it proper real. And these days, you know, on the Sikh scene, there's so many fake people, it's unbelievable, man. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's ridiculous. And the Gurus, you know, they got women involved as well, and got women to do Kirtan, women to do Prachar. You know, they had women missionaries. You know, Sikhi out there, you've got to spread Sikhi. Like, if I had a bad boy car now, and I'll say, yeah, go on Facebook, say, man, I got a bad boy car. Do you know what I mean? and you should get this car because it's smooth drive, this and that. So when people get Sikhi and it's so good and they feel the buzzing of Naam Japana, they feel buzzing of reading Bani, you feel buzzing of Seva, you've got to spread that. You can't keep that to yourself. Do you know what I mean? Sikhi is not a jewel that, you know, that you hide from people. You spread that jewel. That's what a compassionate person does. He cares for others. He wants, because he's trying on his way to God, he wants others to get to God. He doesn't want other people suffering. Get me? That's what Sikhi is about. It's about spreading it out there. And these days people just put in, you know, spoons in the clockwork, you know what I mean? They're stopping other people from spreading Sikhi, and that's deep, and that's a big sin. Again, the Guru's here, you know, Naam Japna while Seva was going on, guiding the Sangha, and, you know, going to see the poor people and, you know, talking to them in a nice prem, pyar. That's what Sikh is about. Do you know what I mean? These days, you know, if a Kala comes to the Gurdwara to eat, you know, everyone looks at them weird, like he doesn't belong there. But the Sikh is all about principles. Do you know what I mean? And we seem to be like, whatever the Guru taught us, we seem to be doing the opposite even in the Gurdwaras to this day and age. It's a mash up. Again, the Gurus built Gurdwara, constructed Gurdwara, so, you know, in Naam Jap there, the Sangha, the community gets together, Japs Naam there, Langar is there. Like a Gurdwara was the hub of the community, you get me? These days, why are so many Sikh kids growing up without knowing what the 10 Gurus' names are, not knowing about the religion, and getting converted by other people, getting confused and lost, and just totally going on a bender out there and becoming, you know, just some next sort of people? Because there's no hub. The Gurdwara these days are just businesses, and people go there and see fights and see this and see that, and see no love. People are gonna go where the love is, get me? Where the love is. We might cuss all these other dere and that, but these dere, even though they do fake love to get people into it, it's working. You go there and you can get free medication. Get me? Go to the Gurdwara and like it's charging you for everything, because it has to charge you because they have to cover their costs. But it's like there's no love, you know. It's like when you go there, when you see the community, it's like it's you and them. There's no bondage. There's nothing really going for the youth, and the kids go there and they get bored, and nothing really happening there for the kids because no one's speaking in their language, or they don't know what reality the kids are being raised up in. Do you know what I mean? And the Guru said eat simple as well, like eat simple food, don't eat, overeat, because anything can access can be bad for your body. Again, like Shabad Guru Kirtan, Rag Kirtan is so important. In every Shabad in Gurbani, you'll say like Rag at the top, and Maharaj tells you what Rag to do it in, and that Rag is there for a reason. It's a hukum from the Guru, because the Guru did that. It didn't come out of thin air. Yeah, it's hukum for the Guru to do it in that Rag, so Sangha feels the emotion and the passion, and that Rag creates the feeling what the Guru had at the time the Shabad came to him. That's how important Rag is. I know it's hard to learn Rags, and, you know, these Bollywood tunes and all that is more easier to do, but everyone should try and make an effort to learn a bit of Rag, because that is the Gurmat way of doing Kirtan. You have Guru Arjan Dev Ji, you know, reciting Guru Granth Sahib Ji to Bhai Gurdas Ji hai, and we got to remember Bani is the Guru is the Bani, and like, people these days, we got no respect for Bani. You put it on a wedding card, and the wedding card ends up in someone's letterbox with the dogs just sitting on it, ends up in the bin. That's our Guru, man. Bani hai Guru, Guru hai Bani. Bani should be cherished. It should be, it's the Rabb on earth, it's your access to Waheguru, it's the biggest thing. But we got money in a safe. Bani, you know, Lord, it's everywhere, you know. People put it on these magazines, Sikh Times or whatever, or people read them while they're having a toilet. You get me? It's ridiculous out here, man. Yeah, Guru Arjan Dev Ji, the canopy's over the Bani but not over himself. The Gurus had more respect for Bani than their own physical body, because the Guru has always been Bani from the start. The Sikhs ain't got no discrimination. When the Guru started building Harmandir Sahib, he put 4 doors on it, so people from all races, backgrounds, religions can come there, because it's the house of God, and God created the whole of creation. Ekon God, there's only one God. God created the animals, vegetation, God created everything. So as a Muslim man, yeah, a bead that put the first brick of Harmandir Sahib down. You know what I mean? I know Singhrow, we like, you know, people think we're racist at all. We ain't racist towards nobody, you get me? But we do stand up for our community. If there's Islamic extremists out there, you know what I mean, that are trying to convert our girls, trying to diss us, or trying to chat untruthful facts about Sikhi, we will make a stand, you get me? The stand being like, we will give them replies back. Doesn't mean we're racist just because we're defending our community, you get me? Ain't like that, you know what I mean? Then Guru Arjan Dev Ji, they told people that death before dishonor, never change your principles even if it means you have to die. They told all the Sikhs down, they done it themselves. Yeah, imagine Guruji sat on a dati tavi on a hot iron plate himself. Imagine we get burnt by a little oil, spilled oil or radiator, you know how much swear words come out our mouth. But you know, this is Rabb the Roop Guruji. Told other people to die for Sikhi and he done it himself. He's the first martyr of the Sikh nation, Guru Arjan Dev Ji. Then Guru Har Gobind came and he brought shastras, weapons, not weapons to go and rob a bank or, you know, go and rob innocent people or go on a massacre and kill all kafirs or whatever. No, nothing like that. Get me? He said that weapons are to be used to defend yourself, defend humanity, defend righteousness, you know, so you can live in honor and dignity and uphold, you know, the righteous values of God's laws. You know, no one should be oppressed, no one should be going through brutality, no one should be going through genocides. You know, okay, you know, these days, you know, even Sikhs don't like shastras, but shastras are needed, you get me? Without shastras, you know, if someone's got a shastra then they're gonna do you. Without shastras you can't defend yourself. Like now the world is going crazy, they got all nuclear bombs and this and that, and you know, kill, massacre people, innocent people. Sikh is against all that. We're not for all them type of weapons. The only weapon Sikhs are allowed to carry or use is something that will defend, you can defend yourself without hurting innocent people. Get me? That's what Sikh is about. So you be a saint and a soldier at the same time. You know what I mean? Because you can't really be a person of God if you can't defend the values. Because no one's been put on earth to be a victim. Everyone's born to live in honor and dignity, and when people try to bully people or oppress people or, you know, kill people for no reason and that, and it happens all the time. Do you know what I mean? A person of God will defend himself and will defend the woman getting raped, will defend the woman getting mugged. Do you know what I mean? That's just a person of God because they have that compassion, like, nah, this ain't meant to be happening. But these days, you know, the Singhs can't even defend themselves. Like, everywhere you go on the internet and that is up and they're getting bullied and that. And like, you know, you go to these programs and you see a Singh with a bana and about 3 10 futtiyan and all these shots to come out as the mullah and that, and they think like they're no hung. And like on the streets, the geezer will walk past someone getting mugged, he'll get taken the piss out of himself by, you know, racist gore, racist sulle or whatever. But they think that they call themselves Nahangs. Nahangs, you can't really be a Nahang and be in the UK. You know what I mean? A Nahang is Guru Gobind Singh Ji's Lardli Forge, the vanguard of the forefront of the Khalsa nation. Like, they're there just to live and protect Sikhi. So Nahang used to leave his family, stand in the Gurdwara, Tyar Patyar with shastras, making sure no one attacks the Guru, no one comes here and messes up the Sangat, robs the Sangat, making sure that, you know, the Gurdwaras are fought as well, and, you know, making sure they used to ride around, making sure the streets are safe for people. That's what Nahang does. Not goes to the bank and make sure, you know, the safe is shut on time, or goes to the bakery and cooks the buns or whatever they do. That's not a Lardli Forge. I mean, you've got people here in the UK calling themselves Nahangs when they're not really living that lifestyle. They ain't out there protecting the Gurdwara. Look how many Gurdwaras are getting attacked and burned. If there was Nahangs in the UK, that wouldn't happen in the first place. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot of Pakan these days. The Gurus themselves fought many wars as well. Not only did they ask the Sangha to fight for humanity, defending Sikhi, they themselves partook. Like a lot of these other people, they won't fight no wars. Like Bush, he started the war, he didn't get involved in fight no war, he ain't risking his life. But the Gurus wasn't hypocrites, they never contradicted themselves. They were real people, they kept it real. Guru Har Rai said the whole of creation, you know, is Rabb the Roop, and we, you know, if you love God and you have compassion for God, you should be loving the whole of creation, which includes plants, which includes animals. That's why in Sikhi we don't chop up animals and eat them because God's light's in them as well. And you know, the bananas and stuff and all that, people say if we can chop up animals, if we can't chop up animals, but why can't we chop up a tomato? Get me? When's the last time someone got done for cruelty by the RSPC on a tomato? Do you know what I mean? Everything's got a purpose. God's created everything. Vegetation has its own purpose. The human form has its own purpose. The animal form has its own purpose. You get me? The animals cry, they have senses, they feel, they have feelings as well. Do you know what I mean? So Guru Har Rai created a zoo where they would capture animals, heal them, and you know, and put the animals back into the wild. And every Gurdwara used to have like a nice garden attached to it, so the Sangat could go and appreciate God's beauty, the beauty of nature. And Guru Har Rai's dream was that every Gurdwara has this. Do you know what I mean? Once you know, a young Singh was walking, and you know he stepped on a rose and that, and the Guru said to him, like, be careful where you walk here, because that's God's nature. Like, then it's God's beauty. The plants are here, we shouldn't destroy. You know, the Gurus were environmentalists. Guru Har Rai had Shastra to protect himself. It's not like if someone tried to attack him, just gonna stand there. You know, the Gurus actually fought as well, but there's a reason and intention and motive for everything. You just don't harm stuff unnecessarily. So Maharaj told the kid, like, walk calmly, walk nicely, do you know what I mean, so you don't harm God's creation. Yet these days you got Sikhs killing animals in Gurdwara. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous, man. The Guru Har Krishan came. He was a young guru at the age 5, 6, can't really remember right now, but really young age. And he started preaching Sikhi and doing Gatha, like discourses about how to up your jiva and how to up your spirituality. Gatha is really important. These days a lot of people don't believe in Gatha. Gurbani is important. Gurbani is the most important thing, but Gatha is just breaking down what Gurbani is saying and telling people about Sikh history. Do you know what I mean? Because a lot of people can't understand Gurbani because it's really dungi. But Gatha is like someone that knows a bit of knowledge about Gurbani, like a proper Gyani, and he'll break it down to the Sangat in simple terms. That's what Gatha is. It's not in anti-Sikhi, but people like saying it's not. See, we've got it all twisted to a T. Like, whatever the Gurus told us, we're just going the total opposite to it. Once a Sikh man said to the Guru that, what do you know? You're just 5 years old, you can't be teaching me. And there was a geezer there, he was dumb, blind, bit mentally disabled. And Guruji put his hand over him, and the geezer couldn't speak, he was dumb, blind, everything. Start reciting the whole Gita, the Hindu verses off by heart. And that's when, you know, the Sikhs of the Guru and everyone, there's always people that had faith, but there's always going to be people that don't have faith in the Guru. You know, sometimes the Guru had to show them that Rab ne sana bhejya, and that's what the Guru did to, you know, to make the faith stronger of his people. And the Gurus went out there again, cured, helped illnesses, helped people diseases, helped the downtrodden, you know, the outcasts of society that people don't want to know, the totally poor people, the druggies, whatever. The Guru, whatever religion they were from, Guru helped humanity, man. It's deep, you know. You got nutters out here saying, you know, Sikh nutters because of 1984, let's kill all Hindus. There was Hindus that helped. It's nothing to do with religion, you get me? It's like, how can you say stuff like that, let's kill all Hindus, or, you know, just because you had one fight with a Muslim, let's kill all Muslims and stuff like that. That's just extremist nutter stuff, you know. You punish the guilty, or, you know, you get justice from the guilty. And if you've got beef with someone, you've got beef with them, it doesn't make a whole community bad. Just because that Sikh nut is bad doesn't mean we're all bad as well, do you know what I mean? Maharaj said, you know, God's light is in everyone. You see God's light in everyone, and then you go out there and help people, you get me? And Guruji went out there, and, you know, he done the ultimate, you know. There was a massive plague out there, and Guruji took all the plagues of the people on himself and went for Sachkhand, but he cured the people. Then Guru Tegh Bahadurji came, and, you know, Hinduism was getting oppressed by the Mughal rule, Islamic extremists, and Guru Tegh Bahadurji gave his life to help the Hindus. Originally he didn't believe in. He donated his whole life. And these days Sikhs can't even fill in a little donor card and donate an organ while they're dead, while Maharaj gave his primal organ, his head, while he was alive. We've got it twisted, we're going the total opposite way. Guru Gobind Singh Khalsa, create the Khalsa call for the forge, yeah, to defend humanity, to protect humanity, to be there, God's army. So if God's creation is getting oppressed by evil people, the Khalsa would always make a stand. When you take Amrit, Maharaj asks for the head. Like when you take Amrit, it's like giving you a head. It's like you're willing to die for humanity, you're willing to die for righteousness and justice. These days the Singhs, the Babbus, they're getting licked, they're getting beaten up, they're walking in the streets hiding. You know, there's times when Singhs are getting jacked for their Qurbans. You know, they'll watch their mum get beaten up. You know, there's so many cowards that, you know, if a man told them like, you know, take a shirt off, jump up and down 10 times, some Singhs will actually do that. And that's, I wish I was lying, I wish it weren't reality. You know, from what we weren't to be and what we've become, it's really sad state of affairs, and I wish I was just having a laugh, but I'm not even having a laugh. I've seen Amritsar like that, and because Singhrow say we shouldn't be like that, we should defend ourselves and hold it up. They label us as some like little hood wannabe gangsters or something. Get me? In our tunes and stuff, we tell people not to be gangsters. We've lived that sort of life, and we've got out of it. And if that life was so good, why would we want to get out of it and get into Sikhi? Get me? So people just put, you know, just chatting a lot of crap about us and stuff like that. And Maharaj had like in his Darbar, he had straps, he had everything. Like, you're God's mighty army, you're there to uphold dignity, honor of the poor people, uphold humanity. And these days, you know, it seems like nah, going that sort of mentality, like, you know, just getting licked everywhere. Let's look at real. All Sikh kids are getting fat, they're all getting bullied. None of them are really good at sports no more. You know what I mean? And like, you know, every other community is out doing us, out beating us. I go to camps, do talks, and I say to the kids, put your hand up if you've been bullied. 75% of the room goes up, because we're keeping our kids into making them into pansies. Look how the gurus and stuff raise the save jar there, and we're making our kids into proper pansies. We're keeping them in a bubble, keeping them wrapped up. They need to see reality. Even the so-called, like, as soon as people go into Amritari sort of thing, they go into planet Pluto. But the gurus weren't like that. They knew about reality, they knew about what challenges they had at the time. They were streetwise, they knew what weapons the enemies were holding and stuff. And, you know, they had stuff to, you know, counter-attack all that. And they had street mans out there on the streets getting knowledge. The Singhs were clued on, they were on it, man. How many Sikhs these days are on it? The Amritaris and that. The people in the pub that are drinking, they probably stand up more for the religion than most of the Amritaris. That's real talk as well. I ain't even fronting about that, I ain't even joking about that. Now the Guru's Guru Granth Sahib Ji, all our teachings come from Guru Granth Sahib Ji, and that's in Bani, and you can get translations on the internet, read them, you get me? They're fairly accurate, some of them. You know, you can get Gurbani sent to your phone, your iPod, or whatever you got. You know, you go, you know, contact us on Singhrow if you need all these links, we'll sort it out. There's a small little talk just to show how we've got a lot of things twisted in it. So Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Hey, this is Sunny here in Richmond Hill, Queens on a Sunday. This is where I am most Sundays, talking to community members at the Gurdwaras. I'm about to head to the Gurdwara on 114th Street, Baba Makinsha Labana, to primarily talk to youth about what they're experiencing in schools. We're going to be doing some surveys of young people, asking them, you know, questions about bullying and harassment in schools, find out what's going on and how we can support them, as well as how they can be taking action in their own schools to make things better and help to make things better for their classmates. So, should be an interesting day out here.
Hi people on the internet. This is Sikh Coalition something. And we are talking about issues in schools all over the place. If you have any issue, please tell us, and we will take care of it.
And what's your name?
Gurnaam Singh.
Alright. And what's your name? Alright.
Is that people are discriminating against what kids, they're trying to beat us up, throw stuff at us, touch our putta without permission. And
they're going to say that we're going to train a judge.
Students are basically filling out surveys telling us what's going on in their schools, and telling us that this new Chancellor's regulation on harassment is actually being properly implemented, and what kinds of bias and harassment, if any, they're experiencing. And what we're finding is that a lot of students are getting made fun of because of their putkas or because of their long hair, and, you know, we're trying to respond to that and deal with that. And right now you're hearing from some students at MS 72 that have been dealing with a lot of problems there. We followed up with the Department of Education, and there was a meeting that happened immediately with their principal that the students seem pretty excited about because action is finally being taken. So we're going to hear.
What school do you go to?
PS 161.
PS 161. And tell me about there was a training in PS 161 recently on Sikhism, right?
Yeah.
How did that go?
Good.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about it. What happened? What did they do?
He showed a show about why you were in the
Mhm.
and why should you not tease sick kids.
And why should you not tease sick kids? Yeah, we heard that a lot of students at PS 161 were being teased because they were sick. Have you seen that before? Kids being teased in your school?
Or else threaten us in different ways just to give up. And many kids are starting to give up on their own religion. You know, I want to stop it.
And all we want is peace.
Yeah.
Peace, dude.
Yeah,
Listen
yeah.
to the word.
Very good.
And we are the Sikh coalition.
Yeah.